Hello, my name is Anadra Moore. Everybody has a story, and I would like to share my story with you. Where I like to start is really at the beginning. I come from a two-parent home, great foundation, anything a kid could ever want, right? So that sounds great and amazing. So I'm supposed to take this foundation and do amazing things with it. Well, that didn't happen. I make mistakes like everybody does. I'm not perfect. Got married very young. Supposed to be the best time of my life, but it was not. I ended up in a marriage where I was abused, verbally, mentally, physically, spiritually, you name it. I didn't get out. I can't tell you why. Still struggle with that today. But at some point in that whole experience, because I couldn't get out or I couldn't think of a way out, I decided I was going to end my life. I mean, that was just the only option I had. So I planned everything out. And I must say it was planned perfectly. So my husband went to work, and that was going to be the night that I was going to kill myself. And long story short, said prayers, got myself all dolled up, took a ton of pills, laid down to go to sleep and never wake up again because I just didn't want to live anymore. But the fact of the matter is I can smile because I did wake up unharmed, unnerved, just perfectly happy, healthy, and don't know why. And I said, well, there must be a purpose for me. And so from that point on, I made a promise I would never do that again. I knew I had a purpose, and I was going to find out what that purpose was. So I continued to stay in the marriage. I continued to be abused. And I just kept pushing forward, thinking about this purpose. Well, eventually my marriage ended, which was a blessing. I had to decide to start my life over at 30. And I did. I ended up getting great jobs, doing different things in life. And then finally I got to my final job. Well, at that point in my life, I was about 38-ish with this particular company. And the company started from the ground up, so I was there from the beginning. Took me off of marriage, divorce, all that. Doing amazing things, like I said. And then one day a coworker approached me and said, you know what? You would be a perfect mother to a child. I'm thinking, I don't even have anybody in my life. What are you talking about? She's like, no, you should adopt. And I thought, okay, I thought about it. And one day I got a call out of the blue. I never signed up to be a foster parent or anything like that. And they called me, DCS called me and they said, hey, we have a baby and we hear you make a great mother. And I was like, me? You want me? And they was like, yes, we would like to talk to you. So they did. Long story short again, I got my first child, a daughter, Jessa. She's 9 now, and she's my world. And then eventually I would get another call 2 years later. Her sibling, her brother. But this child would be different. This child would come with a lot of medical problems. And they wasn't really sure if I would be able to care for him, really. Even though I was doing great things with his sister. That wasn't the problem. But he was born in such a way that really he shouldn't be alive today. His birth mother, was ejected from a vehicle. He was crushed in the womb. And she was ejected. And they rushed her to the hospital. He was born. He had head trauma, heart trauma. He was born addicted to drugs. Yes, he was. He was just a mess. And so when they told me that, I thought about it. They gave me 24 hours. And then I asked, could I see him? And they said, yes, you can see him. So I remember going to Vanderbilt NICU. And I'm in there with all these babies that are addicted to drugs and born under similar circumstances. And they take me over to Luke. And I walk over to him, and at this point, he's out. They're not sure if he's ever going to come around. So I walk over to him, and I lean over, and I said, hi. Well, his name wasn't Luke, by the way. It was Nehemiah. And I said, hi, Luke, because that's just the name that came to me when I saw him. And he opened his eyes, and he gave me the cutest little crooked smile that you could give a person. And when he looked at me and smiled the way he did, I was like, yes, this baby is mine. This baby is going to come home with me. And I was like, well, wait a minute, Miss Moore. We need to talk because you really need to understand the circumstances around this baby. And when I went into the doctor's office, there were other doctors and their specialists, and they were really giving me some serious knowledge about this child. They had books, they had papers, they had photographs, and they was like, you have to understand, you cannot get attached. When you take this baby home, you're taking this baby home to die. He's not going to survive. The odds are against him. We've looked at everything. There's just no hope for him. And I said, okay. And I accepted that because these are the experts telling me this. And I know where I had been. I've seen death. I've looked it in the face, and I thought, well, if it is to be, it's up to me. So I take this baby home 6 weeks after he's ready to go. And I was taking him home actually to die, because that's what they told me. So I told the folks at my job at this time, because things were still good, and they said, well, I tell you what, you take as much time off as you need. And they were very gracious, and I did. I took off about a year so I could cater to this baby. But I'm getting ahead of myself, because when I took him home, they told me he might live a month, he might live 2 months, but 3 months was max. Don't expect any more than that. And I took him home, and I remember when I took him home, I didn't sleep for 3 days. I don't know how I did it. I guess it's just the strength of a mother, whether a child is born to you or not. But I watched him for 3 days, because when he took his last breath, I wanted him to be in my arms. But he was loved. So, the great thing about this story is he didn't die. My little boy is 6 years old today. He's healthy. He's thriving. Now, he's not like the average child. He has a ton of developmental delays. But to see him, to know him, you wouldn't think it. Because he's had such a good life. But I didn't do it alone. I had a great support system. I had a mom, I had a sister, I had a niece, uncles, you name it. We all rallied behind these children. They're great kids, what can I say? I'll brag on them all day long. So at this point, I'm thinking, I finally am at a point in my life where I'm living the American dream. I may not be married, but I'm a mother to 2 beautiful children. I've got a great career, even though my education isn't working for me right now. I'm thinking that's not important. Just plant myself somewhere, work my way up, and I'm going to do great things, because my parents told me, always aim high, but never let it change who you are. There will be failure in life, but it should change you for the better. And the last thing they taught me as a child, you're destined to do great things. And I always carried that with me. And at that point, it finally hit me. Everything my parents told me, this is it. I aimed high, dealt with failure, I'm doing great things, and right then life throws me another curveball. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding. I'm getting older, I have children, I lose my job. The job I thought I was going to retire at. I was going to leave a legacy for my children. It was the most devastating thing I've ever, even beyond the domestic, it was the most devastating thing I had to face, because I never wanted to lose that job. I enjoyed what I did. I worked so hard there, and to have it taken from you at a point where I needed it most. I'm a mother with 2 small children, just bought a home, had a car. I'm living the dream, and then life happens. There's 2 things I could have done. I could have both wallowed in misery and probably ended up I don't know where. Or I could pick myself up and say, well, if you survive this, you survive that, you can surely survive this. That's how I ended up at Ball State. Ball State saved my life. So I truly want to thank the foundation for the scholarship, for this opportunity, for service learning, for networking, for the long relationships I will have way beyond. There are no words to express my true gratitude, not just for myself, but for all the ambassadors. We thank you. And I would not have been able to complete my dream without your support. and my fellow ambassadors.